All right, well, I didn't film for a while. Let me tell you what's going on here. All right, so I bought this 2012 RV from Camping World in Nashville. Literally, I think I did film that. Drove it off the lot, it broke down. Like, ended up being, researched it, so the exhaust gas recycler, whatever, cooler thing, it uses coolant to cool the exhaust before it goes into the diesel particulate filter, and it failed. And so it was shipping coolant out the exhaust, which thankfully it didn't try to do a regen. So what happens on the diesel particulate filter, it'll regen. I don't know exactly how it works. It kind of burns off all the crap in there, right? Well, luckily, if it had tried to do a regen while all that coolant was in the filter, it would have been really bad, but thankfully it didn't. Parked it, got a tow to the shop. They gave me an estimate $6,700 to fix it. Thankfully, I will say Camping World stepped up. They paid $4,000 towards it. So I did have to pay out of pocket $2,700 to fix it. They were supposed to have it fixed in a weekend or something like that. And then by the time, so I went to West Power. They were great guys, honestly. But there was something, it was like the kit was weird or something like that. Took them an extra bit of time to fix it, like an extra 3 days to fix it than was planned. So then, on Friday last week, they have it fixed. I get in it and drive off, get about 10 miles down the road, and the dash lights up again. I had lost a fan belt. So this fan belt right here, this is the water pump right there, and that fan belt had come off. So obviously it wasn't cooling the motor anymore. I will say the guys at West Power were nice enough. They sent a truck out to kind of diagnose everything. I had already figured out that the belt had fallen off. So then while I was looking at it, I noticed there was an extra belt and an extra bracket for, you know, some pulleys and stuff in there. So evidently this has been happening for a while. So they've narrowed it down. What they discovered is that they replaced it here. This is a tensioner that puts tension on the belt, right? Keeps it in place. Well, the old one was not putting enough tension on it, and so the belt was getting loose and coming off. Anyway, so I had to replace that. It was Friday. They thought they could get one, but there was none in Nashville, so I had to wait till Monday. Now they've got it all fixed, so they say again. We'll see. So now I am going to pack up and start getting moving here. It is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I'd like to get home for Thanksgiving to see family and all that. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna start it up and hopefully, come on, please. So then that was another $600 to replace that tensioner. So, you know, I'm out $3,000, a little over, extra on top of what I thought buying this RV would be. I mean, obviously I'm not happy about that, but like, please don't be anything else. All right, I'm gonna pack this RV up. Cool thing, I mean, just look how much space is in this RV though. It's got 3 slides, one sole side slides out. Pretty nice, but all right, let's put this guy in. There is a life I lead in this. I pulled all the slides in to get it ready to go, but I was still pretty nervous. Would the RV actually work? What I need to get by doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my One thing that was a minor gripe on this RV was just how tight the spaces are when the slides are fully compressed. You know, when the slides are out, it's really, you know, wide through here, but man, when these slides are in, it's hard to get through. You can hardly even open the refrigerator, and to get, you can't even get at this back bathroom without climbing over the bed. So you got to use this little half bath. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. All right, so on the way. Please don't break down. I don't want to break down. I think everything's fixed on this now. Hold on. I was planning to drive 5 hours from Nashville to Little Rock. Take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Well, you may notice I'm not exactly on the road. I mean, I guess I should have hired a mechanic to go through that thing. You know, you live and you learn, right? So next time I buy an RV, anything like this, I'm gonna pay. I mean, it's worth paying a mechanic $400 or $500 to come out and give everything a once over. So I got about 100 miles down the road. The check engine light came on, followed relatively soon after by the stop engine light. Oil pressure looked good. Coolant temperature looked good. I stopped, pulled over, checked everything. I checked the oil, it looked fine. The coolant reservoir was full. Everything I could tell looked fine on the RV. So anyway, the belt was on. I called up the service centers that just worked on it and I said, hey, you know, what do you, I mean, you know, I'm 100 miles away now at this point. They're not gonna do anything. I said, what do you recommend? And so I told them the symptoms and everything. And they're like, well, you know, is it derated? I'm like, no, it'll still make full power. So, you know, these engines will derate themselves if they think there's something seriously wrong with it. But it was about 40 miles to this Freightliner service center. So he said, just limp it there. It'll probably be fine. It'll really squawk at you and tell you if something's really bad. Just monitor your gauges and everything. So I did. I made it no problem all the way here. And yeah, so they're taking a look at it and we'll see what happens. All right, let me jump in here for a minute. I took a week off of filming and I didn't film part. I need to kind of connect the bridge here. So where I left you, I dropped it off at the service center. After looking at it, they decided that the DPF filter had indeed gone bad and that the crankcase filter was also needing to be replaced. And as well, they were like, well, we might as well replace the thermostat because it, you know, you did have a temperature fluctuation. So anyway, all that stuff was going to take a week or more. So, and another $5,500. So I rented a car. So that was another, you know, I don't remember how much the rental car was, but whatever. I had to rent a car and leave it there. And I drove back to Dallas, where to go be with family for Thanksgiving. And then the following week, I drove back up there, paid the $5,500 and took off in the RV, headed hopefully back to Texas. But we'll see what happens. All right, well, you may notice this looks like a different service center than the one I was just at. Was in Jackson, Tennessee. Everything seemed fine. Got about, you know, 250 miles down the road. I'm in Texarkana now, so I was in Jackson, Tennessee, and I drove, you know, I picked up the RV. That's why I didn't film. It was already getting dark when I picked up the RV yesterday. And yeah, so here we are. Stop engine light came on and I limped it over here. Now they're gonna take a look at it, we'll see. There was nothing immediately wrong they could tell from the codes. It was repeating some of the same codes, so it was going to take a few days while they could look into the engine a little further. So I gave the boys some treats and found a rental car to head home. Strong with a place to lean. In the moment I hung desperately. The other ring on my wrist is gold. All right, well, back at it for Glamping Doodles. So, let me tell you what's going on here. I've been dealing with this damn RV for 2 months now. Before I get to the RV, let me show you what I got here. So before I was pulling a trailer that had my motorcycles in it. It was nice having the storage and nice having the motorcycles, but the motorcycles weren't very, I don't know. If the weather was cold or was rainy or whatever, you know, had a long way to go, it wasn't real fun trying to get around on those motorcycles. So I decided to use a tow vehicle instead. So I wanted something that I could flat tow, and that ended up being a Bronco. So this is a 2023 Bronco Wild Track. I'm pretty, you know, it looks real pretty. It needs a bath right now. I got a little rainy, wet, but I got the Wild Track, so it's got the big wheels and tires. It's got, you know, the steps, and it's got the more off-roady stuff. It's really pretty looking. It's got the nice paint job. And the good thing about a Bronco is that you can flat tow it. So you don't need to do anything special like get a, you know, you don't have to have a, you know, car dolly or anything like that. If you get it with the correct bumper, it's got this modular bumper where you can just hook up your tow bar right here with it. We just put an adapter in there and it will tow it. There are a couple things you need to do in the, you know, in the computer itself to tell it, hey, you're in flat tow mode. You know, it's pretty nice. I got the leather seats and the big, you know, infotainment center. And it was a lot of searching. I wanted very specific items on this Bronco. You know, I wanted the big wheels and tires. You know, I wanted leather seats, the two-tone, and the big infotainment center. This one has a little more miles on it than I wanted. It's 2023. It has 45,000 miles, but it's in really good condition. The only thing it did not have was the upgraded sound system. So I did that myself. So you can see I've replaced, it comes with these smaller pods. It has like 4-inch speakers. So I replaced the pods with 6-inch speakers, and then I added a subwoofer here. I think it's really cool. It just, you know, it bolts into the tailgate, and the little, what is that? It's like a 12-inch subwoofer. it sounds really good. I did have to install a new amp for it. The whole thing, you know, making it look pretty and running all the wiring, because I had to run all the wiring underneath the floor and all that stuff. It took me honestly probably 5 or 6 hours to install everything, but definitely worth it, because that's the one thing that the stereo system on this thing is kind of lacking is, or the one thing this vehicle is lacking is a good sound system. Now it sounds really good. All right, so now let me tell you what's going on with the RV. It's a piece of shit. I drove it off the lot. The dash immediately lit up and said stop motor. Towed it back to the dealership. We had it towed to a service center, needed to replace the EGR cooler system. That was $6,700 a dealership. Camping World did pay for most of that, $4,000 of it. I come back 10 days later, pick it up. I get 10 miles down the road. The belt pops off because the belt tensioner needs to be replaced, which is probably what caused this whole thing to begin with. Whoever had this RV before, the belt tensioner went out and they let it get hot and it caused all these problems. And so they pull over, but they don't have any belt tensioners. It's another 4 days. That's $700. Get the RV and I get 100 miles down the road. Service, the stop engine light comes on again. I pull into a service center. Now it's the DPF filter and the crankcase filter, which is important. We'll get to that in a minute. And then they think maybe the thermostat or something. So then they replace all that. Now, the crankcase filter having high pressure, that's a big clue right there. Because high pressure in the crankcase, what's causing that? They thought it was maybe just the bad filter, it's clogged, whatever. Get back in the RV, I drive 200 miles, stop engine light comes on again, pull into the service center. They don't know what it is. They've taken a look at everything, and then they decide, hey, we need to drop the oil pan on this thing and look at the engine block. So they drop the oil pan, and there's significant scarring and damage to the engine block and the liners and everything, and the engine needs a total rebuild. $30,000 for that, plus everything I've already spent. So I end up contacting Camping World, and I will say, I tried the dealership. I ended up just going to corporate, Camping World corporate. They responded to me, I think the same day I sent the email, and then they had their head of customer relations, like, I forget his exact title, called me the next day, and, you know, told them everything was going on. They looked into it and they agreed to buy the RV back plus pay my expenses. So I'm really happy with Camping World for doing that. I really think they stepped up and they're making things right, because I've had this RV for 2 months now and I've never got to use it, and but it's only been a headache. So now, that being said, I've got to drive up to, because where I left the RV at the service center, because they're buying it back. So I've got to take this all up to Texarkana, because I was trying to get from Nashville back here and I've never made it, right? Over 4 different times to do. Anyway, so I left it there. I got to drive up there, clean all my stuff out of the RV, grab my trailer, which is already up there, and then bring all that back down here. I'm still waiting on Camping World to fund everything. When they fund everything, I may or may not buy an RV this winter, because I'm leaving the country in a little over a month and a half. And it's kind of like, okay, if they drag this out it's not the dragging out, they're whatever, they're doing the right thing, I'm not, whatever. But if it takes another 2 weeks to get all the money done, then why buy an RV for a month and then have to store it and sit on it and depreciate it for 4 months, 5 months while I'm out of the country? So hopefully they get this done soon and I can get an RV and go cruise around. Otherwise, I don't know. So that's what I'm going to do today is clean out all my crap out of the RV. When I return from my spinning ball. All right, gotta say, I do like this car so far. I really do. And it drives pretty fine. With the big tires on it, it's loud. So not the best road trip car, especially on the highway. You know, anything over 65 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour, it's pretty loud road noise because of these big old tires. But put the AirPods in, listen to a podcast, got the ambient, noise reduction, not too bad. But like I said, this is not going to be a road trip car normally. This is just for going to get groceries, going to the restaurants, stuff like that. So, and I wanted an off-road vehicle. When I take the RV out west in the summer, out like Moab and do all that, it'd be kind of fun to do some trails in this. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the bell to get notified when I post the next video. It's the conclusion to this disastrous saga as I head to the camping world in Katy, Texas. Please consider becoming a channel member or joining our Patreon to get early access to the next video.